Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing great. In today's video, we will learn about a new component that Salesforce has given us in the Sprint'24 release for screen flows especially, which is repeater component. I have one example for you to show how it works, and then we will dive straight into our Salesforce org and create a brand new flow. Here's an example. I have created a bank account registration flow in which we will create a bank account, and after that we will add beneficiaries to that as well. Let me fill up the details very quickly. um, Address is not mandatory. For opening account, I'm adding 5,000. When we click on next, here what you see is the repeater component. This container is the repeater component, and I have added first name, last name and relationship in this. Check this out. Okay, we have add button and remove button here by default. With add button you can add multiple beneficiaries. This is what repeater component does. You just have to add the details one time, and if the details are in repeater component, then whenever you will click on add, one more block of components will be added here, and if you want to remove the component, you can simply click on the remove button. So what is a repeater component, how we can use it, and what are the benefits, we are just going to learn in this video, while we will create a bank account registration form for the user to fill up with the beneficiaries details. Okay, so what is repeater component, how does it work? Repeater component basically reduces your effort, saves your time, and plus it gives the user more smoother experience, more smoother UI experience. Okay, let me tell you how it works. So just a simple example, if you want to ask your users about a repetitive set of data, okay, so for in our example we will ask the user about the beneficiaries they want to add in their account, right? So beneficiaries will be multiple. What can we do here is one we can do is we will add the beneficiaries components again and again, like the input field for first name, last name and the relationship with the beneficiary. Or the other thing what we can do is, which we are going to do, is using the repeater component. So what does a repeater component do is it just repeats the data you add in it. So for example, if I add a text field here, it will just repeat the text field again and again. How many rows it can add, the user will decide that. Okay, as you can see, we have add button and remove button here as well. Let's remove this and create our actual flow. Let's give it a text here. Account holder name. Then we will add a text for phone number. Then we will ask for user's email. And let's add address. And for opening amount, we will take currency. This looks fine. Let's name the flow bank details, and let's click on done. Now we have our first screen in which the user will fill up the basic details. Let's go and take a screen element again. Now here we are going to add the beneficiaries, and for adding the beneficiaries, we will add the repeater component. So what does a repeater component basically do? It saves your time, a lot of time, and your efforts will be less, and most importantly, the user will have very smooth and seamless UI experience. Okay, so here's the repeater component. Now usually if you want to add beneficiaries, so what we will do is we will add the first name, last name and relationship, but there can be multiple beneficiaries. So what should we do in that case? One option is to add the fields again and again, but that is also not a good example, because how many beneficiaries the user is going to add, you don't have any idea, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to use the repeater component, and here we will add, we want to repeat, what components we want to repeat. So let's say we want to take first name. Oops, 1 second. Yes, here. And we want last name. And we want to take a pick list because we want to add relationship for the beneficiary. Let's name it relationship, and for this we need to add choice set. Okay, these four values are fine. Now what will happen is, because we have added this in repeater component, we don't have to add it again and again for users to add multiple beneficiaries. Instead, we have an add button here from which user can add as many beneficiaries as he wants, and if they want to remove a beneficiary, there's a remove button as well. So this is how we can use repeater component to make it seamless for user UI experience. Let's name it add beneficiary. Okay, API name, and let's name the repeater component and save it. So now we have two screen components here. One will be used for adding basic information from the user, and second will be added by user to add their beneficiaries. Okay. Now what will be the next step? The next step will be how the data will be inserted in Salesforce, right? So for bank details, we will add it as account, and the beneficiaries will be added as their related contacts. Okay. So what we will do now is, we will take a create record element and we will start creating our account record, okay, and mapping the fields. Now in account, we don't have email and opening balance, so for that I have created two custom fields. One is email and one is opening balance. Let's name it create bank account, and here use separate resource account. And now let's just map the fields very quickly. This is done, and now we have opening balance, and in opening balance we will add our opening balance field. Okay, this looks fine. Now what we will do is, we will just store the account ID in a variable because we want to add it in the context records to make the context records related to this account. Let's create a new resource variable and name it account ID. Data type will be text, and let's click on done. Okay, so now what we have done here is, we have created one account and saved that account ID in this variable resource. Now what we will do is, because there can be multiple references, right, there can be multiple contexts, that is why we have used repeater component. So the question is how we can use the repeater component values and add it in Salesforce. So this is how it is done. We will loop through the repeater components values that are added. Loop through beneficiaries, and here you can see beneficiary details repeater component, and you can see all items. So it will loop through all the items that are added in the repeater component, first to last item. That is it. Now for each item, what we will do is, of course that is a big no-no, that you cannot use any DML operation inside loop. What we can do is, we can use an assignment element instead to assign it to a variable. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. Assign values to contact. Okay, and here we will create a new resource which will be a record data type. Let's name it contact record. make the data type record and choose the object contact. Okay, now let's click on done. And now what we will do is we will add the contact details, like the beneficiaries details, in this variable. Okay, so for example, contact.firstname will be loop.firstname, and same as contact.lastname will be loop.lastname. Okay, and what other thing we had is contact.relation. So let's add the relation as context title equals to loop dot relationship. Okay, so here we have mapped the context using this assignment element. Let's close it. Now what will happen is we will take this assigned contact and we will add it to a context collection variable, because of course you guys will know that the first time loop runs, it will add it to this contact, but after the second time the contact will be overridden. Okay, so for keep that contact as well, we will add that contact immediately in a collection variable. Assign contact to contact collection. Okay, and for this as well, we will create a new resource. Let's name it contact collection only, and the data type will be record, the object will be contact. Now you will say, what is the difference? This is the difference. We will select allow multiple values and we will click on done. Now in the contact collection, we will add the contact record. So that is how we can keep all the contacts in this collection of contacts. Okay, now what will be the next step? The next step will be to insert the contacts as well. Okay, so one thing we have missed it, adding the contacts account ID. We have taken account ID from our previous create record element, right? So we just need to add it here. This is how the contact will be related to the account that we have created here. Okay, now after the last item, what we will do is we will just create a simple create record element and we will create beneficiary records. Okay, multiple records, and here we will add the contact collection in which we have all the records. Okay, this is just so simple. I have added same examples previously as well. The difference is just the repeater component here. Okay, so this is how our flow finally looks. Let's get a recap. Here we will ask the user for bank details. After clicking on next, the user will fill up as many beneficiaries as they want by using the repeater component. We will create the bank account using create record element, loop through the beneficiaries from repeater component, adding each beneficiary to a contact record and then adding that contact record to a contact collection record. After the last item, we are adding all the beneficiaries using the create record element. Let's save it and let's see if our flow is working fine. Let's name it repeater component example and activate it. I will quickly add it in my flow series app that I have here and I will get back to you. So here I have my flow series app in which I have added the repeater component example that we have just created. Now let's try adding an account detail and adding beneficiaries and see if the beneficiaries are getting added as related contacts to that account. Okay, let's name it repeater account. Address can be empty, opening balance should be at least 10,000. Let's click on next. Here is our repeater component in which we have added first name, last name and relationship. Let's fill out the first beneficiary. Let's name it mother123 and the relationship will be mother. Now by clicking on next, we can just repeat this block and we can repeat the first name, last name and relationship. Let's click on next. Here is the second beneficiary detail column here. Let's add brother If you want, you can click on next again. You can add another beneficiary and click on next again and add another beneficiary. That is the main benefit of repeater component, that you don't have to add the components again and again. Instead, use repeater component for the repetitive data. Okay, we just need two, so let's just remove these extra two. This looks fine. When we will click on next, the flow will be refreshed because of course we don't have any success screen, but we will go here and we will check our account. Here's our account, and in the context there will be two contexts for brother and mother. In title there is relationship. Email and phone is blank because we don't have those fields in our flow. Okay, so that is how repeater components work. That was today's example. That is it for today. I'll see you super soon in my next video. Till then, bye bye, take care and keep learning.